Hey guys, I'm out in the garage today trying to rebuild this old air compressor I had. I bought this air compressor right after we bought our house. I'd never had a garage before, and I've always wanted an air compressor to mechanic with, because I used to be a mechanic once upon a time. And I'm going to get into fixing this old truck back up this fall and this winter when I can't get out and the garden's not doing anything or hunting season's over. And give me something to do. I'm going to be purchasing a wood furnace, and I'm going to remove all those shelves and put it in that corner, and it's going to tie right into my existing ductwork to heat my house. Hopefully it'll heat this garage pretty good. I won't have to use my gas. But anyhow, like I said, I bought this compressor. I give $75 for it, and it was the type that it didn't have this plate on it. I have welded this on here, but it had the compressor and the motor was one piece. They bolted together. The compressor bolted straight to the front. Had the aluminum sleeves in it. And I bought it for $75, and the guy said the compressor was bad. I said, well, maybe I'll fix it up. So I took it apart and got online, and I ordered all the parts to fix the compressor for like 30 bucks. So I fixed it, and I used it for 2 or 3 years. And my wife had a flat one morning before she went to work, and I was trying to change her tire real quick, and it was like 12 degrees outside, and I didn't let my garage heat up because she was obviously running late for work. And I turned my compressor on to build air up in it. It was, to run an impact to jerk the tire off with. And the whole front of the compressor come apart, and it threw parts all over my garage. And it's just a wonder it didn't damage her car. I mean, it didn't touch it, but it was pretty wicked. It sounded like a bomb going off in this garage. So I had another compressor, and it had this plate, and that's where this compressor come from. And the tank was only like a 20-gallon tank. Well, I think this is a 60-gallon, maybe a 50-gallon. It's got a tag on it here, if I can find it. And this was a Craftsman. 60-gallon. Okay. So this compressor, the little compressor that I had, you can see it builds air. But I had it on that little compressor, and it would run for like 15 minutes. You could use it for like 15 minutes. And this compressor would lock up. And I'm hoping it was just something with the motor that I was using. I was actually using the motor that's on this chicken plucker that I've not finished yet. But my uncle several years ago had given me a bunch of woodworking tools that he had started out with, and he had bought out a shop for like 3,000 bucks, and he got all new commercial stuff. The old guy had retired, and he gave me this old joiner, and it had a 1.5 horse motor on it. And I forgot about having this thing, and the hold up on this has been the motor. I really didn't know which to go with, because I had a friend offer me a 5-horse Ingersoll compressor, but I'd have to have a 5-horse motor. The compressor that I got this stuff from was a commercial industrial compressor where my dad worked. They was renovating the facilities. It was like to control telecommunication controls. I don't really understand what it was for, but they used it in the building, and when they upgraded, they threw the compressor. It had 6 hours on it in the dumpster. Dad brought it to me, and it had a 3-phase motor on it, but it was a 1 horsepower 3-phase motor. So everything should match up fine, because this is I think it's single phase, 110 or 220. I painted it here a few minutes ago trying to match it up with my compressor, but it's a 1.5 horse. And this motor does work, because I remember, I used it on the joiner. And I'm going to try to hook this baby up, because I'm wanting to get this old truck back together. This was my grandpa's truck that he left me, and this was my coming of age truck. First hot rod I ever had. I built everything engine, transmission, rear end. That's what I learned how to mechanic on, basically. When we bought this place, I brought it in this garage and stripped it down, and the little girl come along, and it's been sitting here idle ever since. But I want to add, this is a air separator. The guy I work with gave me, that's a Sharp, that's a good brand. He just had it laying around, he gave it to me. It's like a $60 air separator. So I want to mount all this stuff to this wall right here somehow. And then something kind of like that. And have gauges and everything, you know. That way I can tell how much air I got in it. So, I've got the compressor up here. I want to bolt this up. And then I'm going to bolt the motor up. Get it belt, and I got a shroud for it right here. And get that stuff done, I'll show you that clip. I'll be back. Okay guys, I got this compressor and then the motor bolted up, the belt on it, tightened up. This belt, you can see it's not the best in the world, but it'll do until I can see if I can get this thing going, then I can get me another belt. I kind of looked out, this plate and the motor both was set up for multiple patterns. As you can see, you got a hole here, you got a slot, you got a slot, hole, a slot on both sides. And then the plate, it also has, you know, several places to bolt it up to, and that was handy. When you do this, use lock washers so that this doesn't slide. When these bolts are tight, use the lock washer so it doesn't slide. And you want to line your belt up to where it's pretty true. And that's pretty close. That'll probably do. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to wire it up and make sure that it'll pump. And then I'll put my shroud on there. And then I'll plumb it all to where I can pump air. And hopefully this will work out, and within the next hour I'll have a working air compressor. But I'll be back. Okay guys, I've got it wired up, got it plumbed, or partially plumbed. Right now it's still in there. This thing, when I had it before, if you heard that pop, that was this dipstick. It builds pressure. Evidently something stopped up. But I don't know what it would be unless it would be back in this air filter. But it's making air, so I assume that that's unstopped. But you know, on an automotive engine, they've got a PVC valve. A lot of times those PVC valves stop up. They cause their gaskets to blow, like on your valve covers, timing covers, stuff like that. I don't know, and what it was doing before was it would run for like 15 minutes and then it would just lock up. You could turn it off, the wheel would turn it back on, it'd go right on. So I'm going to kind of watch it. It's building air right now. I've got this thing plumbed. I had a time getting everything plumbed, trying to round all the parts up without having to go to town to get in. What I've got here is I've got a valve that's going to go in my air dry, and then I've got this here is a shut, but I can just run impacts or air fire up or whatever. Now, I'm probably just going to get me a little short hose so I don't have to drag this big long hose out all the time. And one of the coil hoses, and I'm going to let this thing build pressure up and adjust its points where my set points will be, kick it on and off at. But looks like it's going to do okay. It's been running for a couple minutes. I added just a little bit of oil to it. Yeah. See, that's what it does. And just like this thing locks up. not going to let this cool down for a minute. And, you know, I don't have any problems with it. Looks like I'm going to have to take this thing off here and take it apart and see what the problem is. So, until then, I guess that's it. I don't know. This is, you know, I kept the serial number. I masked it off. I think this is called a Smith compressor. This was just like a warning label here. I might just take this side cover off. It's easy to get to and see what the holdup is.